Hello, so this is officially day one of my taking recovery and rehabilitation seriously. And as such, it is day one of my video log. This was the idea of a friend of mine. Originally, when I got the results of my MRI back in September, I never really followed up on it. I did a lot of crazy stuff. So the background of why I'm doing this, I've had recurring or chronic, if you will, shoulder issues for about like a year and a half now. Pretty much ever since I started aerial yoga and was totally reckless. A tear started slowly forming in my subscapularis here. Additionally, in my labrum, or labral tear. A labral tear, basically, here's your humerus that connects into a little pocket here. Like there's a ball, and it connects into that pocket. That's how your arm is able to move like this. And the labrum is just kind of this skin that coats that pocket, so it's able to go in more flush, something of that sort. So that's what the labrum does. I have a partial labral tear. And when I first got the MRI, for some odd reason, that was the only thing that I heard of. But evidently, I have a partial labral tear, which isn't a huge deal, and I have pretty much a 50%, like a pretty bad subscapularis tear. Subscapularis is like it's the biggest muscle essentially in your rotator cuff. It controls like over 50% of the strength from it. It's used in throwing motions and just every strong motion that comes from it. So it's very important. I injured it from recurring stupidity, if you will, ignoring pain, saying, I don't need you, pain, you're clearly not demonstrating anything, like there's nothing wrong in my body, and I just kind of tape it or take like a leave or some other stuff, which I don't do anymore, by the way. I don't take a leave, I still do tape it, but I don't do activities while it's taped. In any case, so that's what's been going on, and I finally got the MRI for that last September, even though I dealt with it for like over a year again, taping, leaving, just going, I would like ice it, and I'd be like, it feels okay today, let me go do handstands and flip-flops, and not flip-flops, actually that's what I call flips, they're flip-flops, that's what I call them, because that's like the new cool term. And, I just do crazy stuff like that. I go surfing, even though that's clearly a very extremely important usage of your subscapularis because of the motions involved in it. But of course I did it anyway because I just feel like in my life I need to have exercise as an outlet. And while most people use it as like, an outlet for stress, to me, it was pertinent in my life to get X number of minutes, hours, exercise. I had plenty of reasons. I still do. One of the main reasons is like, as I say, skinny and there's not a lot of fat with me. And for someone like me, it's kind of silly thinking that I need exercise, like a substantial amount of exercise every day to stay skinny because I eat particularly well. I have my nutrition, my diet down packed, and I've had it down since the summer, but for some reason, if I go a day without exercising, I'm thinking, I'm going to gain weight, I'm not going to look good and everything. So that's been a very huge factor with me of why I seemingly can't really stay in some level of sanity when it comes to exercise and just listening to my body. So that is generally what's been going on in my life. Me just not listening to my body and kind of actually just more or less ignoring that I have 2 goddamn tears in my shoulder and that you have to actually be somewhat serious about that. Like, when it comes down to it, I'm not 16 anymore where I just like, I feel like a little nudge in my hamstring and I pulled it or whatever. Just like, take it pretty easy for like a week or two. You'll be, back to basketball, back to everything. It's unfortunately not like that, but at the same time, it just makes me commit to responsibility more, which is good to have in life. But you kind of just have to accept it, and you have to start letting it happen. You have to start making a routine out of it. Just like how I did with diet. I used to have our super particularly awesomely shitty diet for most of my life, and then I finally asserted myself in the summer, and I finally started loving it. And it's the same thing here, I think. This rehabilitation, recover, I have to just start doing it, make a routine of it, and start to fall in love with it. And, you know, I could benefit from this in many ways. Just slowing down. I can't tell you how many people in the past 2 years, like, you know who you are pretty much, who have told me, you gotta slow down, you're going crazy, you're gonna hurt yourself, etc., etc. And I'm like, yeah, alright, I'll hurt myself when I'm dead. No, you will hurt yourself, and you will not be dead. You will be totally conscious for the pain that you will be involved in. And you will not like it, Michael. So, to all you people, I'm sorry, and thank you, and you told me so. But I appreciate you told me so, because better late than never in this case. It unfortunately took the shock value today of going to a PT for the first time, and the initial doctor visit, doctor before the PT was like, so yeah, you got the subscapularis here, it's like 50% torn, your labrum is torn, and you might have like something going on with a nerve in your neck, and I also have like a pulled hamstring that's been chronic, but that's not that big of a deal. It's just, it is a laundry list of things I've allowed to just keep happening to me. And the thing is, you have control over these things. You do. You know, every single day you don't wake up with a gauge that says, you need to exercise or else you're going to explode or implode or something of that sort. Just something bad where you kind of, you know, evaporate into tiny little pieces of sparkly dust and sorts. It's not going to happen. You don't have that gauge, man. You're not a sim, okay? You don't have to satisfy these things. You have to do what makes you mentally sound, alright? Whether that's some stretching or walking around or just meditating or anything. It's whatever makes you mentally sound. But, you know, there has to be a sake of some factor of happiness involved in it. You're not trudging through life. You're not doing this just to suffice yourself. You're not. You're doing it because you love it. You're doing it because there are so many things you'll be benefiting from while doing these things. You can make it a social thing. I'm just saying, when I think of this, I think I'm crazy, and I know that I'm talking to people who might or might not be able to do the things which I have not been able to do. But all I'm saying is we have control over our lives and our minds. We do, and it is okay one day to just stop and back up and say, like, son, I got this. Because you do got this. Like, you do. It is never too late to start anew with a journey. So, today, I don't even know the date. Pretty sure it's like the beginning of March or something. I think it's the 4th. March 4th, January, February, March. March 4th, 2015. Day 1 of serious recovery. We'll see how it goes.